Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines Election Coverage Edition. Not really. Although I'm sure that's what a lot of people are paying attention to. I'm actually just gluing up a wing for a Nissan. Trying to fix that thing, which based on the way it glued up, it doesn't look like it's going to be straight. But we'll see what happens. So, guys, hope you're having a good Tuesday. I know that for a lot of people today is a very nerve-wracking day, and I'm sorry for that. I don't know what else to say, but the sun will come up tomorrow, regardless of what happens. So, yeah, I'm not going to dwell on it too bad, but I really think that today's an important day, and that's enough of that. That's why I didn't cancel for tonight. This gives us something else to think about. And I've never brought politics into my live stream, and I don't plan on it now. So, how are you guys doing? Who all's in the chat? Let's just go through real quick and say hello. Chris, sorry it took me a minute to get set up tonight, and I did go vote, and I got back a little late, so sorry it took a minute. Hey, B2, welcome. Hey, Eric, good to have you. Hey, so fast. Yeah, they do start early in the chat. Yeah, I was a little late. I had an issue with it didn't see when I went to go live, it didn't see the soundboard, and was using my microphone, not this microphone, my microphone at my computer, and we can't have that. So, yeah. Hey, Mike, welcome. Hey, John Tucci, glad you're here. Hat or hair wax, Chris. I appreciate the fact that you know that I use wax. Tonight it is wax. Yeah, I don't know. Terry Mann is in the house. Hello, Terry. Hey, Gary, welcome. Mark Cunningham is here. John Tucci is here. Yeah, all the usual suspects. My brother, Dusty. Welcome, Dusty. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. DeFingers is in the house. Hey, DeFingers. John, good to have you, man. Thanks for tuning in. HSF, good evening. HSF, I got a chance to go to SEMA 2 years ago, and it was fantastic. I would do it again. It was a lot of fun. So since this is the election edition, does that mean Marty is going to keep his podcast going until the final results come in? Yeah, Daryl. We're going to be here all night until we know who's going to be the president of the United States. I don't have a Donald Trump or a Kamala Harris imitation. Saturday Night Live has been doing the good enough for all of us. I figured Marty was stuck in the voting line. Daryl, it could be weeks. Well, it could be weeks because I think both sides are going to be poor losers, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Yeah, it probably is going to be weeks, Dusty. You're probably right. Gluing a, not that this ever happens to me, but I'm gluing a rear view mirror back on. Not that I would ever break off a rear view mirror on a car. Only every time I drive, probably. Ooh, this one's going to be difficult because it's going to fog up. Yep, there we go. Uh-oh. It's going to stick to my finger more than it's going to stick to car. Shoot. So, how's everybody's Tuesday? What are you getting into? Anybody tuning on anything important? We're trying to get ready for Bruce's on. Oh, this is not working well at all. We're trying to get ready for Bruce's. And, I just glued my fingers together. Well, I am ruining this car. There we go. See if I can get it to sit here and glue up. There we go. Good question, Daryl. We've been up since 4:45. I'm really tired. Ouch. That's one of the things I thought I would do, like once I retire, is probably volunteer to work the polls. I think that would be good. Talking Utter Slots, welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. Hey, Chris, Daryl, Greg, let's chat slot cars. It's all good. That's right, Greg. That's my feeling. Is gives us something to talk about. I'm watching Game Show. Whammy. There you go, Gary. That's the way to keep it light. I just want to watch Hallmark movies in peace. You and my wife both, Dusty. Hey, Timothy Wood. Welcome. Hey, Daniel Thomas. Good evening. Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Jeffrey Powers. Hey, Rob. You're in for a bit. Welcome. Good to have you, Rob. Thanks for joining. John Mark. Hey, Nick V. The Fingers. Still Slot R. Welcome, Slot R. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. Gosh, we got some guys back. Hey, no room for politics and slot cars. That's right, John Albright. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to let that go. It will work itself out. Everything will be fine. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. So, working on Group C cars. And I would like to, I need new tires. So I'm going to put new tires on all these Group C cars. On my track, my Hexel is my car. I want this to be my car. I love the Toyota. This thing looks awesome. And I just messed up the windshield. It's going to fog all up because I used the wrong kind of glue. I wasn't thinking. But anyway, so I'm going to put some new tires on them for Thursday. But I want to talk a little bit about gearing. And Dusty and I had this big, long conversation on Sunday night about gearing these Group C cars. And the rules state at Cincy Slots is that we cannot change the pinion. So these come with the yellow slotted gear, which I think is what is the yellow? 29? And a 9-tooth pinion. So you can't change the pinion. You can only change the spur. And on my track, I could use a little more top end, which means that I would go down a tooth to either the black or the blue. Right? Am I thinking about this correctly? And if I wanted a little more acceleration, I would go up a tooth or two to either the purple or the red. What are your thoughts? And with Cincy Slots, Bruce has one longer, but it's not a super long straight, and it's mostly 235 and 335 turns. And Dusty and I were thinking that instead of going down a tooth to the blue or a couple teeth to the black or blue, that we'd be better off going up a tooth. That would give us a little more acceleration, but that would only help if we were able to get the grip we need. So I'm curious to know. Hey, Doug, welcome. Eric, that's right. And Tommy Boy, that's a great movie. Marty's been playing with electricity again. Chris, mail-in ballots. There you go. John, the sidewalk turned out actually really, really good. I surprised myself. Why did Kindig unveil a car at SEMA that's been on the circuit all summer? That's a good question, Dusty. I've not been watching any of the SEMA coverage. John Mark might be able to answer that since he's a big Kindig fan. It was cool that we got to meet Kindig. What else? I broke the mirror of not one, but 2 new cars last week. Somehow it seems worse when they are new. I would agree. It never fails that I'm going to break the mirrors off. It just happens. But, man, it does hurt when it's a brand new car, right? And then, like, my 908s. On my 908s, the way that mirror is made, it's like you just look at that car and the mirror breaks off. But NSR did a nice job with the plastic mirrors that kind of swivel on the C8s. So that's impressive. But slot it with these Group Cs, they break off pretty easy. So I'm with you, though. It's painful when a brand new car, you break it off like the first time you're around the track. Fortifying my homestead, either way it goes. I'm not sure you're going to need to do that, Daryl, but I don't think we're going to have a civil war or anything. Vin, no shortage of gel tonight, and I agree. Going to be some drama post-election. Yeah, Vin. Yeah. It's all drama. Slot R, sad times. Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it, but that why once lose a mirror on a slotted Group C car, I just leave it off. It's probably a good call, Chris, because I think by the time this is done degassing, I'm probably going to have really screwed up this. Yeah, it's looking bad. Crap. Yeah, I messed up the windows on this. I have been tuning machine the past few days, trying to get it all in before blowing town again for a while. Yeah, John, I get it. That's you've been working on some of the new Carrera cars, I see. Guys, if I miss somebody, Daniel Thomas, hey, it's a Secret Weber. Welcome. Hey, Greg, Clearwater. Tuesday is great. By now, every day is a Saturday when you're retired. Yeah. My dad, when he first retired, used to say that he had a bunch of Fridays and a Sunday. Let's see. What was this? What did I miss here? No, Greg. No, Greg, you didn't miss anything. Thanks, Slaughter. I just won the slot at Toyota Festival Series number 36 on eBay for $60. Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these Group C cars, but I'm struggling with the gearing, trying to figure out. Hallmark movies always end with a kiss, snow or no snow. That's funny. News. Hornby announced that it's selling Oxford diecast. That brings in some cash and gets rid of some slow-moving stock. A good sign insofar as it shows things are happening. Action is being taken. Yeah, I think that's probably a good move for them, especially if they're trying to free up some cash. I don't know what diecasts are doing. I know they did. They were really popular there for a long time, the larger diecast stuff. But, Hot Wheels will always be Hot Wheels. Matchbox will always be Matchbox. But some of the other diecast stuff, I don't know how popular it is. It kind of comes and goes, sort of like Beanie Babies and Longaberger baskets and some of that. So that might be a really good move from Hornby that might really help Skillectric out. right? So, B2, what is the recommended type of paint to use for slot cars? Acrylic, enamel. Oh man, B2, I'm not a great person to ask about paint. When I paint my bodies, I'm usually using rattle can, and that becomes a problem when you go to clear coat, because it seems like on this plastic, the clear coat usually pulls the other paint off, and it becomes a problem. So I would say acrylic is what you would go after. Airbrushing seems to be the way to go, and but if George or Shotgun Dave or a lot of the other guys that are great at painting could chime in on that, that would really help B2 out. Oh, it would help all of us out. But the dogs have entered the chat. Hey, Patrick, thanks for the message earlier. I appreciate it. That's exciting stuff. Patrick sent me a screenshot of what the race screen is going to look like after the next update, and it's pretty cool. It looks great. So well done, Patrick. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, UC Slot Cars, good day. Glad to have you. The Slot Car Podcast, yes, good news. Yeah, I think that is good news. Listen, Skillectric, they haven't had the best news over the last couple of years, right? And they've had some releases that weren't popular, and they've had their problems. And then in the midst of their problems, they raised the cost of their cars. But they're still super important to the hobby. Like, choice right now is better than it's ever been, I think, for the hobby. And so a healthy Skillectric is great for the hobby. So we need to help them and hope that they can turn things around. And so my best to Hornby, and them trying to turn that around. So yeah, talking under slots, I agree. That's great news. Hopefully, that in the end that was a smart move for Hornby. I feel that we don't need as much top end at Cincy. I agree, Dusty. And so that's why I feel like going the other direction with the gearing really makes the most sense. Gary, I want that car, the Toyota or the Nissan. The Nissan is a great car. I love the Toyota as well. I'm partial to all my Group C cars. I really like them. But right now, my Hexcel is my best Group C car on this track. But then when I get down to Bruce's, it will be my worst. Probably because it doesn't accelerate quite as fast as the others do. But anyway, Chris Feder, I tend to use acrylic. I like the Tamiya paints. I've always heard good things about the Tamiya paints. I've not tried them because I don't have anybody locally that sells them. So I would have to order them off the internet. Hey, Daniel. Slightly Mad Slot Cars. Hey, welcome. Good to have you. Thin the body shell at the rear out and add the reduced weight at the rear to the chassis if possible. Oh, for the Group C? Cool. Yeah, thin the body shell at the rear out and add the reduced weight at the rear to the chassis. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I think you just want to get your weight just about as low as you possibly can get it. Are you running the paint through an airbrush? I think you can buy the Tamiya paints in rattle can form, the small rattle cans, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Harry, thanks for tuning in. I know it's late over there. I appreciate you being up late. John, a lower, taller gear ratio provides higher top end versus a higher, shorter gear ratio that provides quicker acceleration. Right. So I would get a little quicker acceleration if I went from like a 3.0 gear ratio to like a 3.2. Right. And then I would get, if I drop down to like a 2.7 versus the 3.0, I would get higher, or I would get higher top speed. Vote for Pedro. Patrick, that's perfect. Yes, vote for Pedro. I wrote him in, actually. Use Shugu. Yeah, it just takes so long to dry. But it's probably it was the right choice for that. Mike, what is a good car for analog? Just got my emulator from Omnibox. Need some analog cars. Mike, gosh, like choices, it's across the gamut, man. You can do Group C cars from Slot It. Those are great cars. You can do Can-Am cars from NSR or GT cars from NSR, and you can't go wrong. Those are all great cars. For your first analog car, I might recommend a Revo slot. I mean, you could go Revo slot Datsun with the Group 2s. Or you could go like the GT1. That's the Toyota. This is my favorite Revo slot that I own. I love driving this thing. I actually haven't driven it in probably a couple months. So yeah, man, I don't think you can miss. Just pick a car that you like. That's what I always say when somebody asks me, what car should I get? I'm like, what cars do you like? Do you like old Can-Am cars? Get one of those. Do you like GT cars? Get one of those. You like Formula One? Get one of those. Because the Formula One cars are... Everybody's liking the Polo car, but I'm a fan. If I have to have an NSR car or a Formula One, I'm a fan of the 86, 89. That's a great car. So, yeah, Mike, you have lots of options when it comes to analog. And you can still run your digital cars as analog. So you could pick up a Carrera NASCAR. Chase Elliott. And you could run it analog, even though it's got a digital chip. So, yeah, lots of choices. That's the fun part about this hobby. Is once you get one, then you want two. Once you get two, then you want four. Once you get four, then you want 40. So, yeah. Hey, Chief Redback. Good evening. Welcome. Rob, Testers makes a glue for clear plastic that doesn't fog. Yeah, and I've got this canopy glue, and that's probably what I should have used, but it's not super strong. It's great for windshields, though. ISHR or Harry K. Glue and Truing NSR Ultras for my C8. Nice. Are you prepping for the Nationals race, Harry? 6 Saturdays and a Sunday. There you go. When I lose a mirror, I'm forced to decide if I want to glue the mirror back on or my fingers together. You just saw me do it, Ben. I just did it. Mike, try Thunderslot, NSR slot it. Yeah, I didn't even mention Thunderslot, Mike. Thunderslot, they're my favorite cars. Because I do like the old Can-Am, and that's what they focus on. Yeah, cockpit cement. Yeah, that's what I have. That's what I should have used. That's what I should have used. It's all right. That's right. Hey, Harry. I was watching that Toyota too. I totally forgot about it. Well done. I like the one Hallmark movie where the city girl moves back to her rural hometown and decides she likes the country boy, and she used to hate until they have that Rob, you just described every Hallmark movie. The marketing executive goes back to her hometown. And hates the farmhand in the Airbnb that she has to stay in. But they end up having to put on a Christmas pageant at the local park. And the town comes together and celebrates Christmas. And then, as John Albright says, then they kiss and it snows. Or it doesn't snow. Hey, D.W. Barker. It was a great day. All 4 NASCARs and the Track Pro TT. Nice. DW got your Track Pro TT. Fantastic. Yeah, the NASCARs. I haven't even opened this thing up because I haven't decided what I'm going to do. So maybe you guys can help me decide. I mean, does that need to be a shelf queen? Does it need to be a shelf queen? It's a great looking car. So shout out to John Mark on the Napa number 9 Chase Elliott car. Also, the taller the ratio, the less brakes. Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like every time I start messing with gearing, I go the wrong direction. I know that it should be obvious that I go the wrong direction, but I can go both directions and still the car is slower. Maybe that tells me I need to stay with the stock gearing. So fast. That's my favorite one as well. Yep. Those have been on all week. We don't hear the dogs the way you do, Marty. Yeah. Finn was barking at something. Probably another dog walked by. So now that it's getting darker earlier, our floodlights on the front of the house, and so he will see like people's shadows walking down the sidewalk, and so he takes notice, and so he tends to bark at them. Talking to her slots, it's a great fun. I missed what it was. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you're kind enough, hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I never ask for that, but it does really help in the end. It helps get the video out to more people who have never watched any of my videos. So, Chief Redback, how about the one where the lady is engaged to the guy and gets stranded and meets the different guy and decides that she's in love with him instead? That's the other half of the movies. We all laugh, but it sounds like we've all been watching them, or we will be watching them for the next month and a half. When my wife's watching those, I always walk into the room and say, hey, isn't that the one where and she says, yes, it's every storyline from every show. That's great, Rob. I tease my wife about it too. I was like, oh, this is the one where, yeah, she likes the guy and he likes her. Timothy Wood, are angle winders harder to tune than sidewinders, or is it really the difference of mashing? Didn't know if the car handles different with the two different designs. Oh, gosh, Timothy. So I tend to like sidewinders a little better than angle winders. And the only word that I can always come up with to describe the difference is I feel like angle winders are twitchy. I feel like it's real easy to get them to break loose. But again, it comes down to tuning the cars for the track that you're on. And for the GT cars, like all the NSR cars for the Nationals, all the vintage cars will be sideways cars. And the GT cars, it looks like the angle winder is the way to go. But a lot of times that depends on the track. You might find that sidewinders are better for certain tracks. But if you've got some long straights, I think the angle winders really, really let you stretch the legs of the car a little bit. I feel like they're probably a little quicker. But it really just depends on the layout. I like both. I have a handful of angle winder cars that I really like to drive, and I've got a handful of sidewinders that I can drive better than the angle winders. But it really depends on the class of car. And Gary, the Nissan, gotcha. Yeah, the Nissan is a great car. If you get a chance to pick one of those up, pick one up. How about the one where they can actually act and the movie is not exactly like the last one? Good luck finding one of those. I'm waiting for the one where she falls for the hobby shop owner with a large wooden track. That's a good one so fast. Yeah. There we go. I will write that one. I'm going to work on that script. I'll get it to Hallmark. Should be out in a couple weeks before Christmas. We'll get it made. But yeah, the guy needs to own a hobby shop and be a slot car racer. You know, it could almost be like the Days of Thunder type of storyline, only you add Christmas, mistletoe, and a Blue King wood track. Has anyone used new tire? I've not used those tires, but Dave Kennedy used to swear by them. But I think they're hard to find now. I find my angle winders wear differently and more than sidewinders. Yeah. Harry thinks that they have a lot more torque. Yeah, I would agree. That's the big difference. And they can be harder to tune. I agree. I probably do have a little better luck tuning a sidewinder car than I have an angle winder. Right now, Dusty's kicking my butt on tuning cars. He's getting really good. His Group C cars were like all 2/10 faster than all of my Group C cars. So, good choice, Chris. Has to be NSR Corvette for GT. Yeah. That's right, HSF. Get ready to open the wallet, Mike, because you'll want them all. Especially when you start driving some of these other brands. Like, you buy one Revo slot, and it's like, gosh, what a great car. What a fun car after you get it, especially after you get it tuned. It's running really well. Hey, PP Dangler, welcome. Yeah, man, that's a great NASCAR. That's cool. It's the first Carrera car I've had in a while, so my apologies to Carrera. They haven't released a lot that I feel like I've had to have, but I was really itching to get one of the NASCAR cars, even if it doesn't leave the box. It's such a like I almost want to take it to work and put it on my desk at work, because it's a great looking car in the case. It looks fantastic, but I've got something I'm going to share with you guys in a minute that might change my mind about this car, and maybe I want to get all four. We'll see, but we'll get to that in a minute. The most logical first step to analog tuner cars is slotted. John, that was my first foray into analog. Is I picked up the slotted GT40, the white and orange, black number 19. 19 is my favorite number, and 2, I love GT40s. So I went with that. That was my first. And then my second was this. The number 31 DNF at Le Mans. But that was good. 2 lines. You got one of the NASCARs. I did. Yep, Canopy Glue works. Nice NASCAR. I'm going to get 2 of them when I get paid. There you go. Carrie Weiss, do you have super on the NSR F1s? Carrie, yes. Those are super tires on the NSR F1. 2112s? I don't remember what number. John Albright, do you remember what number super tires those are? Hey, Shane. I saw you. Yeah, there you are, Shane. Thanks for tuning in, Shane. What else? Dusty's been partial to Sideways Group 5. Listen, I'm going to tell you, Dusty has one of the Sideways Nissan Skyline, or the STP Skyline. And that car, we don't know what's wrong with it. But it's the fastest, best performing Sideways car I've seen on the track. That car is phenomenal. Like, anybody can drive that thing. Like, it runs like 4.8s on this track. And no other Sideways car comes close to it. Like, it's a great car. And he won 2 or 3 times with it last month. Twice with it. It was, yeah, fantastic. No nationals or club, GT class, interstate, home racing. There you go. Gotcha, Harry. Thanks. Let's see what else. Slot R. No shelf queens. No shelf queens. I mean, these are probably going to sell out, though, right? You're right. I don't have any shelf queens. And I was watching Harry Wise's videos on my lunch hour today about tuning these things. And like he's getting them to run pretty good. So this is a great car. This livery looks fantastic. Really, really good. So, yeah, no shelf queens. No shelf queens. Run it on your track. There we go. For glass, UV Cure acrylic resin glue pen. There you go, Secret Weber. I've used those before. No shelf queens, taking that sentence out of the vocabulary. Has anyone heard that the Nats are going to be ran on an 8-lane track instead of 2 4-lane tracks? Ben. Nope, haven't heard that. But I am guessing that it might be hard to find enough scale auto track in the States to do 2 layouts. But yeah, Ben, I don't know if you've been talking to Mike or not. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I reviewed a Polycar Maserati GT4 home racer today. Broke the mirror after 5 minutes. Harry, welcome to the club, the Broken Mirror Club. Ben, that's a good question. I'll have to do a little bit of research and see if we can find out what we know. Hey, Mad P. Thanks. Haza, you should have shelf queened it and saved the mirrors. Save the mirrors. Heck no Hallmark. There you go. Shelf queen, Marty Ford 2 lines. You're fired. Yeah, you guys know me well enough. I lapped. Heck, I lapped the Slaughter. And that was definitely a shelf queen. No shelf queens ever. Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. And DeLeon, we have the same discussion in my house. I go to bed. She has the TV on. I say, I saw this one. We're going to start up some Shelf Kings. There you go. Definitely break loose easier. Yeah, the sidewinders or the angle winders. Yeah, you see slot cars. I agree. And he's going to lose. Chris, that's right. We have to add that that there's a big corporation that wants to come in and buy the store out to build condos. Listen, we're just going to group write this next Hallmark movie. I'll take notes right out of the chat, and I will submit this to Hallmark. Yeah, I'll work on that. I understand Carrera changed the wheel type of the new NASCAR, and the most aftermarket tires will not fit it. Is that correct? So, Rob, actually, Harry found a Paul Gage tire that fits it fairly well, but you got to true it to get it right. You got to do a little bit of work. And then we've heard rumors that the tire companies are working on some tires for the NASCAR cars, mainly because they're going to be so popular. And I could see new liveries next year. I mean, that's just me making that up, but I mean, these are going to be so popular. Carrera would be silly not to get licensing to do 4 more liveries next year. It would be silly. Anyway, hey, Jim, welcome. Thanks for joining in. You haven't missed much. We've been talking about election. No, joking. We've been talking about the new NASCARs. Beautiful cars. See, you guys have already talked me into cutting the sticker. No, the car is not worth half of what it was before, because I'm going to open it up. Ooh, look at that. Even better. Out from underneath the glass. Yeah, that's a good looking car. Angle winder cars were created to allow better weight distribution and power transfer. And you can use a long can motor. So a lot of that was a way to get a long can to fit on these 1/32 scale chassis, right? KR Bridges, hello, enjoying the California weather in Western PA. Yeah, I know. It was 81 degrees today. Mike, I run the emulator. You will love it. Yeah, Mike, enjoy your emulator. It's nice. But Rob, going back, yeah, there are tires coming. I don't know how soon, but we know that all of the major brands are working on them. There's really bad RC a few years ago called Flying Cars that involves an RC race and a guy who leaves his girlfriend for another girl. That's all right, De Leon. I can be a fan of a really bad movie. One of my favorite movies when I was a kid was the movie Rad, which is a really bad BMX racing movie from the 80s. But I was all in on BMX bikes. My brother and I both were. We probably, I don't know how many times we watched that movie, but we loved that movie, Rad. And it does not hold up well at all. Nick V, Group C Toyota is a great car. I had one that was brilliant, really fast. It's now been beaten by my Jaguar. Yeah, Dusty's Jaguar, he's got it tuned. It's running great. For NASCAR's Paul Gage PG 125 LMXD urethanes. Yep. You got to do a little bit of work to them, but those will work. Thanks, Harry, for putting that in there. Yep. Harry Wise has a video on the wheels. Bit the bullet and you bought all 4 analog NASCARs. Nice, John. I think you'll be happy with those. They look great, man. I can't imagine a good RC or slot car movie of any kind. It's tough to make that storyline work, right? Agreed. Once I got my first slot, it changed everything for a slot car better. Tunable, replacement parts, etc. Yeah, Chris, I would agree. It really opened up a whole new world when I bought my first slotted, and then my first NSR, my first Thunder slot. Yeah, that was kind of mind blowing from a tuning standpoint. Yeah, Dusty got 2 P1s and a P2 with his Group 5. It's good stuff. I know, Greg. That's why I'm like, if I don't get it out, then I don't probably do a video on it. And everybody's already done videos on it. So, yeah, I put them on my Christmas list. So my video, if I do one, will be next year. Slot R, you probably want the Kyle Larson car. That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, there's so many cars. Need to get a second mortgage. Hey, Steve. Yes, the Nats track will be 1 8-lane scale auto track. Thanks, Steve. Steve has cleared it up. 1 8-lane. So, Steve, my question is it still going to be 10-minute heats? That's 80 minutes of racing for each driver. That seems like a long, long day. Yeah. Wow. So I have a feeling they'll adjust the heat times since there'll be 8 lanes. So if it was going to be 10 minutes, so I think you go 5-minute heats. So everybody's running about 40 minutes. That sounds like the way to go. Angle winders break loose. Sidewinders are light in the front end. No Camaros next year. The De Leon slot car race, if I heard correctly, Quick Slicks has tire coming next year for the new Carrera NASCARs. Pistol Pete just up. Harry also had a great video for the guide upgrade too. Yeah, Greg, that CG slot guide is really a nice piece. That's good. Dressed up from the slot cave. Generally, angle winders like the weight added further back, sidewinders further forward. Pistol Pete is just up from his slot cave. I thought you were going to say breaking. Well, Dusty and I did have a piece of linoleum in the basement where we had break dance when we were kids. So Breakin' was our second favorite movie right after Rad. Chief Redback, that's great, man. Hey, Gary. Welcome. Good to have you. New wood track in Lexington, Kentucky at the axe throwing place. It's a big Blue King, I believe, 124, 132nd scale racing. They said rubber tires only. Steve, that's awesome, man. But how far is Lexington from you? That's still a pretty good drive, right? Hour and a half. Marty, you shut it down. Rad is it's a masterpiece. Hundreds of times I've watched that movie. Great pre-ride material. Mark, it does not hold up well, bro. I'm sorry. I still love it. Like I'm telling you, I still love it. I still send BMX pictures. Well, one of my Facebook posts this past week was Mongoose is re-releasing the Super Mongoose and the FS1. And those were bikes that I absolutely drooled over when in 1985, 1986. I wanted one of those bikes so bad. And Dusty's the one that got the Mongoose. I got a Ross. I loved my Ross, but it wasn't a Mongoose. Steve, nice. Need to convince them the silicone way. Yeah, as soon as see, that's where you have to have like multiple cars, right? Like, I've got my cars for this track, and I got my cars for this track, and because of different tires. Here's a link to Harry's Carrera NASCAR video. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I watched both of his part 1 and part 2 today. They were both really good. That's funny. 8-lane at a place called Battle Axes there on Facebook. Cool. Blue Water, welcome. Thanks. I believe it will be 5-minute heats in each lane. Steve, that makes sense because that would be the same as 10-minute heats in, on a 4-lane track. I like it. That makes sense. It's still going to be a very, very, very long day. Yeah, Nick V agrees. That is a great way to start out with a slot it. Jerry, hey folks, good evening. Club racing, second in stock Carrera on road course, first on the oval section, third in classic NASCAR. Nice. That's a good evening. Spent the whole evening on the podium. Well done. Well done, Jerry. Hey, DNA. What's up, Dahi? Yeah, apparently the Lex track hates silicone. I don't know, but they made that very clear to me. I just started seeking out the older non-COT Scaly and Ninko NASCARs, which was my favorite body style, but the new Carrera cars are beautiful. Yeah, Rob, this car is really nice. I have a friend that worked at the axe throwing place. We have an axe throwing place in Chillicothe. It's about an hour. That's not bad, Steve. Playing with the new NASCARs with the grandkids. True Tires definitely needs more work. They say they get around the track pretty good, though. So that's cool. Nick, you guys had rad. We had in Australia BMX Bandits with Nicole Kidman. I have seen BMX Bandits as well. I was a big BMX fan. I had a subscription to BMX Action. Dusty and I wore those magazines out looking at just the advertisements. Hey, Bob. Thanks for joining. Good to have you, man. Hope you're doing well. Many of the things you learn by tuning slotted cars transfer to other brands down the road. Yeah, it's a great starting point. My son just grabbed his Chrome Haro out of the attic. Oh, man. Haro, Redline, Mongoose, Robinson, Kuwahara. Thinking about all the BMX brands. There were some great bikes. Gosh, the 80s were a great time to grow up. We put thousands of miles on those BMX bikes. And I jumped off every crack on every sidewalk you could find. Tree stumps, it didn't matter. Everything was a jump. Cars for Cincy Slots, cars for Butch's, Ross's cars for the Lexington place. I don't know, guys. That's getting a little crazy. Yeah, Steve. I would agree. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, I got the email from Ross. I don't really have cars tuned for Ross's track. I would have to pick up some foam tires for my Revo slots, but hey, Jamie, that's all right, man. Never worry about being late. Not a big deal. Ben, Nat's day and a half, if my calculations are correct, with both classes running 5 minutes a lane based on 48 racers. Ben, do you think there'll be 48 racers? Let's see here. See if I can quit a couple things that clear that up. So do you think we'll be under 50 racers? I have a feeling that there'll be more than 50 people. Loved my BMX days, crafted my young life on two wheels, man. Steve, same here, man. Like, we rode everywhere. Hard to beat the 80s BMX bikes. Yeah, Dahi. BMX Bandits is free on YouTube. Now I know what I'm watching. Instead of election coverage, I'm going to watch. I think Rad is out on YouTube as well. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. Hopefully I can get down on Saturday. Let's see. Gosh, did I get to the end? I got the end. Wait, it's 9:00, and I am at the end. I caught up on the comments. What else did I want to talk about? So I talked about my Group C cars. I think they're close. New tires should give me about a tenth. I'm still not close to Dusty. I might pick up a few spur gears to play with the gearing if we can get down to Cincy Slot early enough to have some time. I do need to put new braid on all of them. I put new braid on this, but so that's one of the things I still have left to tune. I did start another project, and I think I've talked about it a little bit. I've hinted around about it. A big hint would be something to break this car out on. Has started construction, and so yeah, I'm pretty pumped. This past weekend, I had been pouring a bunch of concrete, built some sidewalks along the side of the house. So the next race day, guys don't have to even come through my house. They can come down the sidewalk along the side of the house right to the basement door and make it nice and easy for them, if the weather's nice anyway. And so I've been pouring concrete all last week, and I got that finished. And on Saturday, since I had some time and I'd cleaned up all my forms, I had a bunch of 2x4s I didn't know what I was going to do with. So I started on a project. Quick, everybody start posting. Got my pre-order in for the newest Thunder Slot Can-Ams. Pistol Pete, oh my gosh. The Gungston, right? And yeah, the yellow and the white, those look fantastic. I really like them. And they made some detail changes. The one has the tube on the hood, the tubes for the air input intakes, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I am super excited about those Thunder Slots. I will have to probably. This is a record, Marty. It is, you're right. It is. Question: how do Scale Auto R Series GT Porsches run? Harry, I think any of the Scale Auto R chassis and the RS chassis, I think you will be very happy with those cars. I only own one, and it's this Scale Auto that I'm actually working on right now. And I don't know if this is considered an RS chassis, but I hear really good things about the R chassis. So their home series cars are pretty basic, I think, but their R and RS chassis are really fine running cars. So I don't think you'll be disappointed with those. Used to deliver the San Francisco Chronicle on a Schwinn P-Picker, butterfly bars, Springer front end, 16 front wheel. Sundays sucked. John Albright, I delivered papers on that Ross BMX bike. It's probably why it looks like it. And then when I turned 14, I quit riding my bicycle and I got a moped, and I would deliver newspapers on the moped. And again, we didn't have a Sunday paper, but our Saturday paper was big. And so, yeah, that was a job carrying those on the bicycles. So I'm with you. The San Francisco Chronicle, that's already a big paper every day back then. Let's see. Hey, with a young Nicole in it, I will watch it at least once. You've been looking at the wind livery. Yeah, the wind livery is great. Delivering papers with high-rise bars and newspaper hooks was the thing. Looking forward to Group C at Cincy Slots, but I will miss this Thursday. Porsche Fat Turbo for me and the Momo. I'm not so sure about this new gearing idea of yours. Steve, I actually wanted to talk to you about it because I mean, I think for Bruce's, the stock gearing is the right gearing for it. I don't know that the blue gear, which is, what is it, a 20, I forget how many tooth that is. I don't know that that's going to get me anything. So I'm probably going to stick with the stock gearing. My cars run better at Bruce's than my Group C cars run better at Bruce's than they run here. So it's just a fact of life for me. Steve, blue and black rule that track. So you're saying the blue gear or the black gear is really where I need to be? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. So you're saying less acceleration, more top end. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate the input. Daryl said the exact same thing. And I believe Daryl. He's tuned quite a few cars for that track. I just feel like we weren't going the right direction. But let's see here. Yep, Chicago Tribute, Sun Times used to be huge. LA Times on my Schwinn. Jim, yeah, that's a big paper. Just don't be surprised that the Scale Auto PGT3 R Series cars are fairly large compared to, say, an NSR. That's good to know, John. If Steve is missing this Thursday, then I'm not coming either. I'll make it a week. You'll be there. Hey, if Steve's gonna not be there this Thursday, then we all have a chance. Somebody else might win. Do your thing on gearing, but I have tried them all pretty much. No, dude, I don't want to waste money. So if I don't have to buy a gear, I won't buy a gear. The gearing still throws me a little bit. I feel like every time I try to play around with it, I'm always going the wrong direction. I trust you, Steve. Just like I trusted Daryl. He said to go with either the black or the blue. I know it doesn't make sense, but it works. I am glad to live in a small city. Newspapers were smaller. That's right. NSW 50 kilometers from Bathurst. Gotcha. So let's take a trip, shall we? Oh, wait. I probably should throw a microphone on. Hang on just a second, guys. Just a second. Oh, no. There we go. All right, guys. Let's try a microphone. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Can you guys hear me? Test 1 2 3. Give me a thumbs up or something that you can hear me, not from this microphone, but from this microphone. I muted this one. So check. Do you have me? How bad does it sound? Up, down, what do I need? Hello? Check 1 2, check 1 2. Oh, it's got a little bit of room to it, but it'll work. All right, so let's see if we can go to this. There we go. All right, it's field trip time. Out and clear, good. All right. Yeah, Jamie, I'm with you. That's what I enjoy about Cincy Slots. So we have a great time. All right, guys. So this is what I've been working on. I started to build the 2 lines oval bull ring. So what do you think? But not it's pretty much a pretty flat track. I was talking to George today about how much banking it should have. I'm going to put another 2x4 here in the middle so I can pin it in the middle. I've got it on casters that lock, so when it's race night, we can either go this direction, so we've got around the whole thing, or I can put it in the middle. It rolls really easy, and I've got plenty of room. That table is going to go, and we'll open this up. Maybe I throw a TV on that wall. And yeah, so maybe in the next couple of weeks, we might have ourselves a wood routed oval. So what do you think? Should be fun, right? So it'll be great for testing the Home Racing World proxy cars, the Scratch Build, the Showdown cars. So I basically have 2 slot rooms. This is my pit room. And so if I'm racing here, I will be able to put this up against the wall, and I'll still be able to throw some tables around and still have plenty of pit space for this layout. I don't know. What do you guys think? So I probably will need to throw some insulation up in the ceiling, just so my wife doesn't have to listen to all of us. But pretty excited about it. Should be a fun build. So I've been chronicling the entire build. I've been doing kind of a time lapse of the table build, and then I will do the same thing when it comes to routing and everything else. So there you have it. So now I'm going to catch up on the chat. See what you guys think. Welcome to the Twilight. Frozen? No. Sounds fine. Okay. I did freeze up. But you're frozen. Looks good. Lagging in that location. Yeah, I think it's because of I have these gigantic thick walls. Frozen in time. Are you routing? Yeah, so Gary, I will be building a routed. Yeah. Yeah, Greg, it's going to be 12. It's 12 foot by 6 foot. So it's a little wider, a little shorter, more of a short track. I'm trying to decide if it's going to be called the 2 Lines Bull Ring, or if it's going to be named after the local dirt track that we have here, and call it the Atomic Speedway. So, haven't decided. Yeah, so it will be. It will be a 12 foot by 6 foot. Oh, I am starting to lag, aren't I? Wow. Well, it didn't like when I fired up that other camera, did it? There we go. Let's see if that improves things. Yeah, thanks, Carrie. It should be fun. Let Let's see here. So I'm actually off work for the next few days. So I think I will have an opportunity to actually do some work on it. So I got to pick up the MDF. I plan to do that tomorrow. I'm trying to decide if I should put an OSB base down first and then the MDF on top of that. Not that I want to spend. I'm trying to do this I have a budget that I'm trying to get in under. So I'm also thinking about going with copper tape at first, because I can do that inexpensively, and then eventually route the gains and put braid in. So anybody have anything against that? We can talk about that in the chat. So, yeah, thanks, B2. I think it'll be fun, additional content for the channel. That'll be a lot of fun. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, the fingers. Kind of been sneaking around on this one for a little while. Dusty and I have been talking about it, and John Mark have been talking about it for a long time. And I had been asking George and Shotgun Dave a million questions about it. So, yeah, thanks, John. The casters are like the game. Voice recognition sucks. Let's see. I might even driven through there on my way to the Revo Slot Nationals. So, Doug, it is 12. It will be 12 by 6. I think now that I've built the table, I probably could have gone like 14 by 6. 16 was probably just a touch too big for that room. That pretty much would be end to end. But with the casters, I can throw it in that room at an angle, and I would have been okay. So, like, I'm starting to question. I could still reframe that and make it a little bit bigger. But I think I'm just going to stick with my original plan and make it a short track and it be 12 foot long. The problem is because it's 6 foot wide, it will actually be, the straights will only be 6 feet long, because the turns are so big that you're talking about 3 feet on each end to handle the routed turns, and that really leaves only a 6 foot straightaway. And that just, to me, that seems really, really short. And so if we would have gone 16 feet, that means that I would have had 10 foot straightaways instead of 6 foot. It'd been 4 additional feet, and I just feel like that's probably what I should have done. But I think with this size, I think we could still flip it on its side and get it out the door. It's going to be tight, but I think we could do it without having to take it apart. And if that's the case, that would be pretty cool, because then it could move it without tearing it apart. But I did build it so that it was fairly easy to take apart if I needed to. But got some more work ahead of me. This is just the beginning. Let's see, what else do we have? Thanks, Timothy. It will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. This is a big old house. So it's about 40 feet long and about 30 feet wide. So yeah, it's a big basement, but it's got a big wall in the middle that splits the basement in 2 sections. There's 3 doorways in between. So you come down the stairs, there's a little room here. So there's 3 rooms on one side and 1 big long room on the other. So I mean, I still have like 12, 14 feet from the edge of my table here to this wall. Yeah, so I'm very fortunate. It's a big space. It'd be nice if it was a little taller, but beggars can't be choosy. Yeah, Gary, I will be. I've already been recording what I've done so far, kind of in a time lapse. But now that I'll be doing the routing and the tabletop and some of that stuff, I will not be doing that as a time lapse. I will probably be doing that both, some real time videos, and some instructional. Even though there's already great instructional video, Harry Wise has a awesome video out there about building his track. So I'm not sure that we really need that content, but since I'm building it, I probably will go ahead and do it. And then I'm going to, I'll put lap timing on it and run fast laps on it as well, so that I can just have some great scoring. So I'll pick up a cheap TV maybe on Black Friday to hang on the wall. Or I'll put a new one here and take this old one and move to the oval. We'll see. We will see. But yes, Gary, I will be making videos. No lag now. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, I had to unplug that other camera. It was causing the Mac to run out of some memory. Yeah, my plan on Friday is to pick up Apple released new Mac Minis. And so my hope is on Friday I will buy a new Mac Mini. I'll head to the Apple store. So the daily were a breeze compared to the heavy Sunday. Slightly laments on cars. No, I really don't get enough time to film and edit. Have too many projects. Do I need your truck? No, I've got my trailer, John Mark. I'm good. My track is copper tape and it works just fine. Jamie, I think that's what I'm going to do first because it's inexpensive and I can get the track up and running fairly quick. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, it'll be fun, and I'll keep you guys up to date. I'll be sharing every Tuesday night as I'm completing the build, and but I've got so much time off coming up from work over the next 3 weeks. I think the next three weeks I have Thursday, Friday. I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday off this coming week. And then Thursday, Friday, the following week, Thursday, Friday, the week after that, Thursday, Friday, the week after that. I'm trying to eat up a bunch of vacation days. So with all those days off, I should be able to get a crap ton of work done on it. Yeah, Jim, I think it'll be cool. And so the plan would be is once that's done, when we do race days, we would run a class on the road course, and then we would run like an IROC race on the oval, or pick some cars that everybody has and run on the oval. What I would really like to do is I would like to get 4 of those Mid-America sprint cars and get them all tuned up and then run them as an IROC series, since it's going to be 4 lanes, and then maybe all 4 of the Carrera NASCARs. And so I'll have some cars for the oval, and I'd probably going to be running urethanes on the oval, since that's what Harry does for the showdown, so that we can maybe host a proxy race at some point with some of the showdown cars or some of the stuff that people have already built for some of Harry's proxies, Home Racing World proxies. So I don't know. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but it would be cool for this oval to become, and it's different enough, right? It's different than Harry's and George's wood ovals, that it would be a short track compared to theirs, and that might be fun. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Marty put some sound deadening material under the MDF. Yeah, I thought maybe that, or some OSB, just to give it a platform. Bedtime here. Thanks for the entertainment. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. About to wrap things up. We usually go till 9:30 Eastern, so that's cool. I can't make this one. I'll probably watch it, though. It'll be interesting using foam tires on a slotted. perfect track for short gears. There you go. So it'd be about acceleration. Made it here. Lots of traffic tonight. Guess cause of the vote. Hey, DJ Patrick. Thanks for tuning in. We're about ready to wrap things up. Vin, one word, Bondo. Yeah, I'll do my best to not make mistakes, but yeah, I'm sure it will happen. Yeah, Mike, I agree too. I think it would be fun to get some of the NASCARs. For the sprint cars we talked about, start out at 9:28:29. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Still touring the ultras. Slow process. Harry, man, you better believe it. You better believe it. That's a slow process. Yeah, great thing, Nick. Yep. Soak it in while you enjoy it. The guys racing are really friendly. Watch what the locals are doing. That will help you with the tires. Yeah. DJ Patrick, I know it's a winter project. It's one of the cars I have to get finished. Gary asked how many lanes. 4 lanes. I think I have room for 5, but I'm not sure that that's really necessary. So I'm just going to stick with 4 lanes. The outside lane, I'm going to put 6 inches between the wall and the outside lane, which puts it at a 30-inch radius for the outside lane turns. And then I think I'm going to go 4 1/4 lane spacing. So I've got plenty of room for a 24 scale and 1/32 scale. So the land barges have a little bit of room to get around, a little more room than they would on a Carrera track. So that's funny, John. I'm coming, Elizabeth. What a great show. Probably can't do that show now. You could put a wall around the outside and then put temporary plywood top if you needed more temporary pit area. Yeah, Jerry, I thought about that. It would be easy just to throw a piece of plywood and make a top for it. I agree. That would work out great. It will have a wall around the outside. And I made it curved so it won't be square or rectangle. It will be curved on the ends just to give us room in that room to walk around. But after I built the table, I realized I probably could have gone 2 to 4 feet longer. I'm not that that's a big enough change, but yeah, B2, I'm getting ready to call it a night as well. Thanks, Slightly Mad. I appreciate you tuning in. John, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, guys. You will have to make dirt modified. Jerry, you're right. Yeah, I figure that I would probably do a lot of like 4 cars of the same so that not everybody will have cars to run on an oval. But I think we'll have some fun with it. So that's the plan. We'll do some 1/32 and some 1/24 scale on it and have a lot of fun. So, guys, I'm going to call it for tonight. Just like the election, we're going to call it. I have no idea what's going on right now. So, but I'm sure that the news is hot and heavy. So, Mike asked, do you attend the showdown in Missouri? Mike, I do not attend, but I have sent cars to participate 2 different times, and it's a lot of fun to participate in. So if you decide you want to do some scratch building, it is a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Thanks for joining in. I really appreciate you, and go have some fun racing.